Bird migration is a remarkable natural phenomenon in which birds travel long distances seasonally between their breeding and wintering grounds. This phenomenon is driven by various factors, primarily the search for suitable food and nesting conditions. Here are some key aspects of bird migration. 1. Seasonal movement. Bird migration typically occurs during the spring and fall seasons. In the spring, birds migrate from their wintering grounds to breeding areas, while in the fall, they return to their wintering grounds. 2. Reasons for migration. Food availability. Many birds migrate to areas with abundant food resources during specific times of the year. For example, some birds travel to regions where insects are more abundant in the summer. Breeding. Birds migrate to areas with suitable nesting sites and less competition for breeding territory. Climate. Birds may migrate to escape harsh winter conditions in search of milder temperatures. Daylight. Changes in daylight hours trigger hormonal changes in birds, signaling them to migrate. 3. Types of migration. Altitudinal migration. Some birds migrate to higher elevations during the breeding season and descend to lower elevations during the winter. Latitudinal migration. Many birds migrate north to south or vice versa, covering vast distances along longitudinal lines. Short distance migration. Some birds only migrate short distances, moving to nearby areas to find better resources or avoid harsh weather. 4. Navigation and orientation. Birds use various cues for navigation, including the sun, stars, Earth's magnetic field, and visual landmarks. Many birds possess an innate sense of direction and can accurately find their way even during their first migration. 5. Impressive journeys. Some bird species undertake incredible long-distance migrations. For example, the Arctic tern migrates from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back, covering around 44,000 miles, 70,000 kilometers, annually. The monarch butterfly, although not a bird, also migrates over long distances, from North America to central Mexico. 6. Risks and challenges. Migration is not without risks. Birds may face adverse weather, predation, habitat loss, and collisions with human-made structures like buildings and wind turbines. 7. Conservation and research. Bird migration is a critical aspect of avian life cycles, and the conservation of migratory routes and stopover sites is essential to protect bird populations. Researchers use various methods, including tracking devices and banding, to study bird migration and gain insights into their behavior and conservation needs. Here are some notable bird migrations and the places they connect. Arctic tern migration. Route. Arctic terns undertake one of the longest migrations, traveling from their breeding grounds in the Arctic to their wintering grounds in the Antarctic, covering around 44,000 miles, 70,000 kilometers. Notable stops. Some key stopover points include Iceland, Greenland, the North Atlantic, and the Southern Ocean. Monarch butterfly migration, not birds. Route. Monarch butterflies migrate from North America to central Mexico for the winter, where they form massive overwintering colonies. Notable stops. Monarchs pass through the United States and Canada during their migration, with a concentration of wintering sites in the forests of Michoacán, Mexico. Sandhill crane migration. Route. Sandhill cranes migrate from breeding grounds in North America to wintering areas in the southern United States and northern Mexico. Notable stops. They gather in large numbers at sites like the Platte River in Nebraska during their spring migration. Wildebeest migration, not birds. Route. The Great Wildebeest Migration in East Africa is one of the most iconic mammal migrations, involving vast herds of wildebeest, zebras, and other herbivores moving between the Serengeti in Tanzania and the Masai Mara in Kenya in search of fresh grazing. Notable stops. The migration follows a circular route, crossing the Mara River, Gramiti River, and other water bodies along the way. Snow geese migration. Route. Snow geese migrate from their Arctic breeding grounds to wintering areas in the southern United States and northern Mexico. Notable stops. During their migration, they often congregate in massive numbers at places like the Bosque del Apache National Wildlife Refuge in New Mexico. Ruby-throated hummingbird migration. Route. Ruby-throated hummingbirds breed in eastern North America and migrate across the Gulf of Mexico to wintering grounds in Central America. Notable stops. They rest and refuel at various locations along their migration, including the Gulf Coast. European swallow migration. Route. European swallows migrate from breeding areas in Europe to wintering grounds in Africa, with some covering distances of over 9,000 miles, 14,500 kilometers. Notable stops: swallows cross the Mediterranean Sea and Sahara Desert during their journey. Bird migration is a testament to the remarkable adaptability and resilience of avian species. It also plays a crucial role in ecosystem dynamics by influencing species distribution, seed dispersal, and insect control, among other ecological processes. Understanding and preserving these migration patterns are vital for the conservation of bird species and the health of ecosystems worldwide.